Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, welcoming you to this episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast designed to help you rest, relax, and fall asleep, all while deepening in your connection with your beautiful team of angels who love you so. If we're meeting for the first time, allow me to introduce myself. I am an angelic practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and an encourager of souls. I am entering into my 19th year of this work, which is amazing. This is the longest I've ever held any job, and I'm never giving it up. I love it so much. And you might wonder what I do, so I offer one-on-one angel sessions, soul mentoring, and a variety of classes designed to inspire your spirit. All of my classes take place over Zoom. I have new classes starting about every 6 weeks or so, and they are almost always small in size, so we'll really have an opportunity to get to know each other. And you can learn more at my website, illuminatingsouls.com, where you can also sign up for my mailing list. And you'll get all of my class announcements. So, it feels like it has been so long since I have been to the microphone. I have had every intention of recording new content for you, but life has been lifing. As I record this, it is late Saturday, and I really had promised myself I was going to get a new episode out this week, and a lot's happened this week. I don't want to talk about it because you're going to sleep, and I'll just give you 2 words: Los Angeles. So it's as much as I'll say about it. You might be listening to this 5 years from now and go, what is she talking about? And if you don't know, that's okay. But if you're listening to this fairly recently, since it's been published, you'll understand what I mean. And I kept trying to record it today, and we had some people working in our garden, and they were tilling the soil. So every time I got a head start, their equipment would go off, and then it just was noisy, and I was noisy, and it wasn't happening. But I really, really wanted to create new content for you. And you know what? For me too, because I listen to this podcast as well to help me fall asleep, to bring me comfort. It's a really remarkable thing when a creative endeavor can be supportive not only of other people, but of yourself as well. And so I have missed this podcast quite a bit. So here I am in my full resolve to bring to you comfort and love, heartfelt community. And so you know that I'm still here. And so are you. And wherever 2 or more are gathered in the name of God, miracles are possible. So as those of you who listen know, I do listen to a sleep podcast every night before going to sleep. And my whole circadian rhythm has been so off the past few months. I mean, more than usual. And my husband has been saying to me, you just need to sleep when you're tired, because at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I'm exhausted and ready for bed. But I keep thinking that's too early to go to bed, and so I try to stay up. And my husband has been saying, just go to bed. You might wake up at 10, but that's okay. You just need to sleep when you can. And so I've been trying to do that. And I've also been waking up at odd hours in the wee hours of the morning. And, there's a lot happening here on planet Earth. the stuff we know about and the stuff that we don't. There's just a lot happening, and I know myself well enough to know that I am traveling many lines of energy that my conscious self may not yet be aware of, and in all likelihood you are as well. Which is why I want to record this episode, so that we can come together in this beautiful, gentle energy field where we can be held and loved, where we can receive and be nurtured. And so this is why I'm here right now. My intention is to create an episode that will be of deep comfort, because I think we could all use a dose of comfort right now. So, however and wherever you choose to listen to this episode will be perfect. If you are going to use it as a sleep podcast, I invite you to cozy on up and snuggle on in. If you are listening during your waking hours, you can put in your earbuds or headphones or turn it up loud on a speaker and listen. Whatever calls to you, however you want to participate in listening to this podcast, I welcome you here. I am so grateful that we get to come together in this moment and keep each other company, because even though I might not know your name yet, I can feel you in my heart. And I feel the beautiful community of people who come together and listen. And I'm so deeply grateful for you. So let's do our best to get cozy, and I just invite you to close your eyes and take some nice deep breaths in and out. And we will gently call ourselves forward into the heart of God, into the heart of divine love, asking the beautiful angels on high to join us here, to fill this broadcast with sanctuary and love, nurturing, calming, healing, sweet energy that supports each one of our beloveds listening to this broadcast. So just take a deep breath in and release whatever is up to be released, allowing this beautiful angelic energy to flow to every cell in your body, every thought in your mind, and every emotion in your heart. And let's just keep breathing together for a few more moments. And if you have prayers and intentions you wish to bring into this sacred field, I invite you to do so now. As the angels receive your prayers and amplify your requests, your intentions. And let's just take another breath in and out. You know, one of the things that I tend to forget, and then when I remember, I'm like, oh, that's right. And that is when there are significant events happening in the greater collective, whether I'm aware of them or not, I almost always feel them. It's like a ripple. It's like energetic weather. I'll feel unsettled. I'll feel more tired than usual. I'll feel like I have less capacity. So I've been feeling a lot of that lately. And perhaps you have too. And I want to share just a really sweet story about a question we posed once to my guides, Josephus and the Wisdom Council. This would have been in 2012, many years ago. But at the time, my friends and I felt that the energy we were navigating was just nutso, like it was just crazy energy. And someone asked Josephus, when is the energy going back to normal? And their response was this. They said, well, we have good news and we have bad news. The bad news is that it's not. It's not. Welcome to new normal. But here's the good news. You are ever evolving beings. You are continually acclimating to the vibrational field in which you exist. Similarly to going to a city with a higher altitude, it might take you some time to acclimate, but you will. And so in a way, right now, we're finding our sea legs. So everything feels different and off kilter and different. But we will acclimate to this energy so that we can find our center. Because life is life, and we're going to continue showing up. I facilitated a beautiful New Year's Day and New Year's Eve circle, and this mantra came forward, which is very simple. It says this: no matter what, we are moving towards the light. No matter what. No matter what, we are moving towards the light. No matter what. And it came through with such conviction. Like, let go of all the stories. Let go of all the fears. We are mighty spirits having our human incarnation. And we are here to help evolve the collective consciousness and bring more love into this world. And we're not here to fix everything. It's impossible. But every day we can show kindness. We can smile. We can be of loving service. We can pray. We can hold hope in our hearts and let it grow deep roots. We can seed for brighter tomorrows. And no matter what, we are moving towards the light. No matter what, we are showing up. Just show up. It's the best advice I've ever gotten from my husband. No matter what, just show up. We were talking not long after the elections, and I was just sort of, contemplating, like, what comes next? And he says, we don't know, but here's what I know. Your job is to show up, and you will continue doing your sessions, and you will continue posting your messages and teaching your classes, because that's what you do. That's your way of being of loving service. And you, my friend, have your own way of being of loving service, whether or not it's printed on your metaphoric business card. You are one of the good people. We've talked about this before. My dad's greatest compliment of somebody was, they are good people. And he would say that about you. You are good people. And you might not think that's a lot, but, look around the world. Not everyone is a good person. I think it takes a lot to be a good person in this world these days. And you're a good person. You are kind. You are thoughtful. You want the world to be a better place for all. I know that sounds so trite, but just kind of be with me in this energy field for a moment, because words fail to fully convey what I am feeling. You know, we all get to leave a ripple in their lives. And if we do what we can to seed positivity into our ripple, that has great meaning. It doesn't mean every breath is a positive one. Listen, we also get to be messy and imperfect and crabby and off-kilter, and we get to be human. We are not meant to sustain these divine notes 24/7. That's why we are divine beings having a human experience, because we also are well-traveled in our humanness. But what it means is, given the choice, we're going to try to do something based in light. So this mantra of no matter what, we are moving towards the light is a reminder not to let the shadow energy seduce you or cause you to capitulate to its sad, sad story. It's remembering you are a mighty, mighty being. And you have such beauty and such power and such light. You are a creative spirit. And the world is better because you are here. So take another breath in and know that the angels are with you and they are walking with you. And they are tucking blessings upon the tapestry of your life. And just take a breath in, allowing the light to fill the space you are in so that you can easily receive it. And then this light is going to travel to all that you love. It's going to ripple and ripple again and ripple far beyond this time and space. Then take a breath in and allow yourself to relax and to be loved and supported. And if you are preparing for sleep, just get cozy and listen to the sound of my voice. I'm going to continue along in this timbre, kind of boring, a little interesting. And we're going to move on into story time. Okay, and can I just say how proud I am that I got through the first segment? I am so proud of myself for sticking it out. I had to record the beginning part like 5 times. I'm really out of practice. But we're here. I have 19 minutes of content so far. So, yay me. And we're going to move into story time. So, we're revisiting a community cookbook that I read from a while back. It's from the Christian Mothers Society in Vesta, Minnesota, and it was published in 1946. So 1946 was just right after World War II. So, things were still unsettled. And the women were cooking all the meals in the home, even if they were working out of the house, outside of the house, because the men were at war. And so the idea of being able to do food preparation in ways that were easy, simple, comforting was very important. And I don't know, about a week ago, I just really wanted to be comforted, and I found myself reading through this book again, and I thought, you know what, there is plenty of stuff here for another episode. Because right now I need comfort, and maybe you do too, and this just delights me. So, towards the end of the community cookbook, there is a section called Special Hints. These are very sweet. They are a little dated, but they're still very sweet, so I'm going to read them to you. So our first special hint is a recipe to preserve children's lives. Take one large grassy field, 1/2 dozen children, 2 or 3 small dogs, a pinch of brook and some pebbles. Mix the children and dogs well together, and then put them in the field, stirring constantly. Pour the brook over the pebbles, spread over all a deep blue sky, and bake in the hot sun. Then remove and set to cool in a bathtub. Isn't that sweet? Take the children and the dogs out into a grassy field under a big blue sky. I loved that. This one I thought was really beautiful. A recipe sure to make women beautiful. Okay, and it's not about mani-pedis or makeup tips so that your husband will find you attractive. It's really lovely. Otherwise, I would not read it to you. So, go into the sunniest part of your yard and lay out a generous flower bed. With bare hands, plant it with seeds and plants and bulbs. Very soon the sun and soil will join to produce mystery in this spot. No one has ever quite been able to fathom the secret. Visit and watch it and talk and dream and pray about it, for it is to make you beautiful. When the blossoms come, love them, and when John comes home, take him by the hand and lead him to it. Then hold your hands underneath the blossoms and talk to them. Call them all the sweet names you can think of. Open your soul to their inspiration and thank God for this beautiful world. Beauty begets beauty. Let your bare hands come into contact with the soil. Let your bare face bask in the sunshine, and let your soul be open to God's love and care. And you will grow more and more beautiful with each succeeding year. And this is copied from the Flower Grower. I just thought that was so beautiful. It is a little dated. They're assuming there is a man named John involved. It could be a woman named Jane. It could be your cat. It could be your best friend. But it's coming to the garden and speaking to the blossoms and allowing the blossoms to help us remember about our own beauty, our ability to blossom and be resilient and receive. So I loved that one. There is one about preserving a husband, but I don't know. This one did not. I mean, it's nice, but it was a little dated for me. So, well, I'll read it to you anyways. I'm not reading it to you, though, because I think it is so sweet, but it is reflective of 1946, probably. So, preserving a husband. Be careful in your selection. Do not choose too young, and take only such has been reared in a good moral atmosphere. Some insist on keeping them in pickle. I don't know what that means. While others keep them in hot water. This only makes them sour, hard, and bitter. Even other varieties may be made sweet, tender, and good by garnishing them with patience, well sweetened with smiles and flavored with kisses to taste. Then wrap them in a mantle of charity. Keep them warm with a steady fire of domestic devotion. Serve with peaches and cream, and when thus prepared, he'll keep for years. Yeah, not too much pressure there. I would not be good then at pickling a husband. The whole peaches and cream thing would not work for me. Unless that was a literal dessert, in which case I could probably do that. So I say yes to the recipe for children. Love that. A recipe about beauty, because I know it's talking about soul beauty. Yes to that. The preserving a husband thing, not so much. So there you have it. Some tidbits of wisdom from 1946. And I wasn't quite sure where we would start reading the recipes, but as I was flipping through, I knew I needed to share this specific recipe with you. And this is from the cookie section. This is called Matrimonial Chew, which is a phenomenal name for a cookie. What are you going to bring to the potluck? I'm going to bring my famous matrimonial chew bars. I just love that. And this is from Mrs. Clifford Kramer of Milroy, Minnesota. So we are going to mix together until crumbly 2 cups of flour, 2.5 cups of oatmeal, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of shortening. I would use butter for sure. 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of soda. Like, these sound like oatmeal bars. They sound so good. So put half in a greased pan, add filling, which we haven't really talked about, and sprinkle the rest of the crumbs on top. Oh, now we're going to get to the filling. The filling is 1 pound of dates, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of boiling water. Cook until medium thick and bake in a moderate oven until brown. When cool, cut into squares. You know, I hadn't even read this recipe. This recipe sounds a lot like my cousin Sherry's oatmeal bars that she makes. And what we do is we put an apricot spread in between instead of the date stuff, and we get it in the can. They are so delicious. I've never heard them called matrimonial chews before, though, but that is a phenomenal name. One of the things I'm noticing in this cookbook is that there are sugarless recipes for cake, and I got so excited because I don't eat sugar, so I thought, this is great. This is going to be a cool, like, dietetic recipe or something. But actually, what it is it is cakes that are cooked with corn syrup. And my assumption is because towards the end of the war, sugar was rationed. So having refined sugar was a luxury. And how would you bake a cake if you didn't have sugar? Well, you would use corn syrup or molasses. So they're calling these sugarless cakes, but it just means they were not made with refined sugar. For instance, this is a sugarless white cake from Mrs. Ray Eckstein in Wanda, Minnesota. 1/2 cup of shortening, 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 1/3 cup of white corn syrup. So there we have it. 2 1/4 cups of sifted cake flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 egg whites, large, and 1/2 cup of milk. And then it gives all the instructions. But I just thought that was interesting. I got excited, but then I realized it wasn't my kind of sugarless cake. But that's okay. It worked for the time. And then we have a frostings section. I'm sure I've shared this here before, but it's a really good story. And may I share with you my frosting story with Wes? So, there used to be this wonderful bakery and restaurant in Los Angeles called Manny's, Manis. And their whole bakery was built around not using any refined sugar. They used a fruit juice concentrate. And everything they had there was delicious. And so we went there all the time. You know, like one of everything. We would like an eclair, and we want chocolate cake, and Wes and I, when we would share a piece of cake, it's like we would have to ration the frosting because that's the best part. So we have this, we've been told before that it can be kind of annoying if you're around it. Like, we always insist that the other person have the last bite. Like, we don't fight over, I get the last bite. No, I get the last bite. We fight over, You take it. No, you take it. Which I've been told can be a little annoying, but if you're going to have a problem with your spouse, it is a really good one to have, that we're always trying to take care of each other. So one Saturday or Sunday, we want to stop at Manny's, but it's on a very busy street in Los Angeles, and typically there is no parking. And usually when we were in Los Angeles, Wes would be visiting me because he still lived in Northern California, and I would drive. So there was no parking. Did I mention there was no parking? Because there wasn't. And so I parked in the red zone, but I did not get out of my car. So I said to Wes, I'm going to wait here. If a cop comes, I'll move, but I'll come back for you. So you go in and get our order, because he knew what we would get. So he goes in, and I'm waiting. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting a long time. Like everyone else is going in and out of Manny's. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? And now I'm kind of getting mad because, I can be crabby. And I'm getting frustrated, but there is no parking, so I can't go park and walk in and go, dude, what up? So I'm just, getting more and more annoyed. And finally, Wes comes out. Happier than I've seen him in a long time. And he's a happy guy. He's beside himself with happiness. Meanwhile, I am crabby. And he goes, you will not believe what I did. I was like, I don't know, because I've been waiting here forever. I'm sure I said something worthy of my crabbiness. And he goes, I bought just the frosting. I said, what? What are you talking about? He goes, I went in and I asked them if the chef would let me buy just the frosting. Now, this was before frosting shots were a thing, because I know since cupcake shops started happening, they do sell frosting shots, but this was before frosting shots ever were invented. So the chef came out, and Wes said, can I just buy tubs of the frosting? And the chef thought about it, and he goes, sure, why not? Which one do you want? He goes, we want the chocolate one, and we also want the white one. We want both. And so they picked a price, which was not very much money, and Wes comes out just beside himself with delight that he negotiated frosting for me. For us, really, but he would say it was for me, because again, that's what we do. I did it for you. No, I did it for you. We can be annoying, and but we're not annoying to each other. It's adorable to us, and so he got just the frosting. Like, really, when you're picking a partner, pick a really, really good one who would know how to secure just the frosting. Let the frosting be a metaphor for whatever your frosting is. My frosting is real frosting. My frosting is also yarn. I have been compulsively buying yarn. Like, I'm getting a lot of yarn. I'm going to make things, I guess. My future self is planning many, many projects that I don't even know about yet. And I've been saying to Wes, I'm like, oh my God, should I buy this yarn? He goes, yes, you need the yarn. And I'm like, you're such a good man. He's so good to me. Well, I'm good to him too, but it's just nice. He's nice. He's like, no, you should really get the yarn. So yarn, I have yarn. And he once upon a time bought me the frosting. I don't need diamonds. I'm not a buy me baubles girl. Get me frosting, grow me tomatoes, help me buy yarn. I am yours for the rest of your life. So it's good to know these things about ourselves. I don't know what yours are, but we all have a price, and it's a lovely, delightful price. My price is love. My price is love me when I am having a crisis of faith, and love me when I'm crabby, and help me remember who I am, and mirror to me all of my best and be my soft place to fall in the world, as Dr. Phil would say. It's the only time I ever quote Dr. Phil. So here's to being loved well in our lives. And here's to frosting. So now I don't even feel like I need to read you a frosting recipe, because I told you the best ever frosting story. So we'll move on. Let's see what's next. All right, we've got a brownie recipe, which I won't read to you because we all have brownie recipes, right? But I love a good brownie. Here's one that I know I would love, but I'm not going to make: butterscotch cookies. Butterscotch, I've shared this with you before, is an unsung hero of flavor profiles. It at some point got eclipsed by caramel, and caramel is not butterscotch. I'm sorry, there's a plane going overhead. Just pretend it's not there. But here is our butterscotch cookie recipe. It says 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of shortening, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon cream of tartar, 1 teaspoon soda, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1 cup of walnuts, and 3.5 to 4 cups of flour. Roll and let stand overnight. Cut and bake. Okay, this one sounds good. Cornflake cookies. I've never had those before, but they sound delicious. This is from Mrs. Ed Johannes of Nicollet, Minnesota. 1 cup of white sugar, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of soda, and 1/2 a cup of boiling water. 1 cup of shortening, and then it says part butter or spry or lard. 1 egg, 1/2 a teaspoon of salt, and it's 3 cups of cornflakes or Wheaties, put in last. So it says, do not stir too much after cereal has been added. Raisins or nuts or 1/2 a cup of grape nuts may be added for variety. Drop on an ungreased cookie sheet and bake in a moderate oven until golden brown. I would imagine they would be rather crispy. How about something called Delicious Rocks? That's a great name. Delicious Rocks by Mrs. Ed Terstig of Olivia, Minnesota. So we're going to take 1 large package of marshmallows. We're off to a good start. 1 pound of shredded coconut, 1 pound of crushed walnuts, 1 pound chopped candied orange. Well, that doesn't sound good. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not candied orange. It's candied orange slices or colored gumdrops. That's a different story. 3 tablespoons of hard butter, 8 graham crackers rolled fine. So we're going to melt the butter, add marshmallows, stirring constantly until all the lumps are melted. Remove from fire and add coconut, walnuts, and orange slices. Stir well. So we're going to pour it into a shallow pan in which 1/2 of the graham crackers are spread. Use remaining crackers for the top. Chill and cut into desired pieces. A scissor works best. Sort of a precursor to our Rice Krispie treats. Oh, this one sounds interesting. Salted peanut cookies. Mrs. T.F. Reed Jr. of Redwood Falls, Minnesota. 1 cup of shortening, 2 cups of brown sugar, 2 eggs, 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of soda, 1/2 a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of quick oatmeal, 1 cup of wheat flakes, so like cereal, and 1 cup of coarse chopped salted peanuts. That sounds really good. So we're gonna cream shortening and sugar, add beaten eggs, dry ingredients which have been sifted together, and last the breakfast food, and either roll into balls and press down with a fork or drop by spoonful into cookie sheet and bake. There's something about like the oatmeal and the salted nuts and the sweetness and the cereal. It sounds delightful. They do have the Toll House chocolate cookie here, which I will not read to you because we've all made it 1,000 times. Aren't these just really sweet, nostalgic recipes? Like, I don't ever even have to taste them. I can smell them. I can, feel them in my heart. I don't know why. They make me so happy. It reminds me of the way I grew up, the kinds of recipes my mom would make. This one sounds good. Again, more with the cereal. We're in the candy section. So this is Candy Krispies by Delphine Pensky of Vesta, Minnesota. 1 cup of thin cream, half a package of cornflakes, half a package of Rice Krispies, 1 cup of coconut, 1 cup salted peanuts. Here we are again with the salted peanuts. 1 cup sugar, and 1 cup dark corn syrup. So we're going to cook the sugar and the corn syrup and cream until a firm ball is formed in cold water. Pour over cereals and nuts, combining in a big bowl. Mix thoroughly. Press into a buttered pan. Cut in squares when cold. A favorite with youngsters and grown-ups. That sounds really good. But again, don't eat sugar, so I'm just imagining it. I'm imagining it and delighting in it. They do have a recipe here for homemade Cracker Jacks. This is from Mrs. Lawrence Brandel in Franklin, Minnesota. So we're going to take 1 cup of molasses, 2 cups of sugar, 1 tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and half a teaspoon of soda. So we're going to boil the molasses, sugar, butter, and vinegar until it cracks when tried in cold water, and then add soda and pour over a pan of chopped peanuts and popped corn. It doesn't say anything about the prize from the Cracker Jacks because that was always the best part, but, add your own prizes, I guess. Okay, here's one that has a great name. Nothing. It's called Nothing. What do you call this? Nothing. I call it Nothing. It's Nothing. From Mrs. Anthony F. Liban in, they give her whole address, which I will not give to you. She's in St. Paul, Minnesota. So we're going to take 30 marshmallows. I'm assuming they're the big ones. 1 cup of milk, 1.5 cups of whipping cream, and 15 graham crackers. So put the marshmallows and milk in the double boiler, because they didn't have microwaves in the day, because that's what we would do now. When thoroughly melted, remove from fire and cool. Whip the cream and add to the marshmallow mixture. Crumb graham crackers. Butter shallow pan and line with crumbs, saving 1/3 of the mixture for the top. Pour in cream mixture and sprinkle with remaining crumbs. And then we're going to freeze it for at least 5 hours. It doesn't sound good. I just love the name. What do you call this? It's nothing. Thanks for bringing it. It was nothing. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I'm very punchy apparently right now. So there you go. It's nothing. There are also several popcorn ball recipes. I'm telling you, I have not had a popcorn ball, I don't know, since I was in grammar school, maybe high school, I don't know, but wow, a good popcorn ball was heaven, wasn't it? Back in the day. Does anyone even do popcorn balls anymore? Did you ever get them for Halloween? What did I say it like that? Halo. Did you ever get it for Halloween? We would anyways. We would get the wrapped popcorn balls, and no one was worried about them being tampered with in the day, so we would just eat them, and they were really good. I mean, what's not to love? Popcorn, caramel, all together in a ball. Delicious. Okay, we're now in the salads and the dressings, which is kind of a letdown after the cookies and the candy. And there's a recipe here I cannot share with you because I don't even know what to say about it. It is called a candlestick salad. It involves a half of a banana with a cherry on top. I don't. It just doesn't seem an appropriate recipe for mixed company. But I'll leave it to your imagination. I don't know. I was like, what were they thinking? I don't know. What am I thinking? I don't know. Let's move on, shall we? The macaroni fruit salad. I'm kind of frightened by it, but I will tell you what is in it. This is from Mrs. Melvin Eckteen in Vesta, Minnesota. 3/4 pounds of macaroni. Now, as you know, in the Jewish kugel, it is sweet, so I do have a precedent for sweet pasta. Okay, so I'm going to give that a little bit of breathing room. So, a 3/4 cup of macaroni, 3 bananas, 3 oranges, 15 marshmallows cut up in small pieces, 1 number 2 can pineapple. So the dressing is going to be half a cup of sugar, the yolk of 1 egg, all the juice of the pineapple, 2 tablespoons of flour, and a pinch of salt. So you mix there's nothing salady about this. This is what I would eat at a salad bar and go, I'm on a diet when I was a teenager. So it's on a salad bar and must be good for you. So mix the sugar and flour and egg yolk with the juice of the pineapple, adding a little bit at a time to make a smooth paste. Put in a double boiler and cook until thick and smooth and chill. Boil the macaroni in water with salt to taste until tender and drain. Blanch with cold water and then add fruit and dressing and mix well. Serve cold. The only thing that childhood me could think to add to this would be maraschino cherries, because then you know you are at the gateway of a wonderful child-friendly dessert. Okay, here's another one of my favorite salads that is, again, nothing dietetic about it, but I would be like, it's a salad. It's good for you. A Waldorf salad. When was the last time you had a really good Waldorf salad? For me, it's been many years, but I love a Waldorf salad. So 6 tart red apples, 4 celery hearts, 2 ounces of walnuts. Walnuts make the Waldorf salad. 1 1/3 cup, so it's 1/3 of a cup of raisins, and then mayonnaise and lettuce. You mix it all up. Delicious. One of the supermarkets I used to shop at in Los Angeles had Waldorf salad. I think it might have been Gelson's. And I used to buy it, just like a half a pound or something, and it was so good. But it's not something I would make myself, but that was a lovely little trip down memory lane for my senses there. Okay, here's another one my inner child would like. Marshmallows and pineapple salad. I don't even need to know what's in it. Clearly, it involves marshmallows and pineapple. It must be good. And sugar. What else do you need? That's it. That's all you need. It's delicious. Okay, and I just have to say, whoever edited this book, I'm sorry I had to say it like that because I kept saying the word wrong. They put savory after sweet. And I'm sorry, you can't get me excited about pineapple and marshmallow salad and then ask me to care about savory food. The whole purpose of dinner is to get to dessert. So you can't take me to dessert and then make me care about dinner. So let me find something else I can share with you from this book. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, how about if we go to a chocolate fudge recipe? So we are going to take 2 cups of white sugar, a half a cup of white Caro, that's a corn syrup, a half a cup of milk, 2 squares of chocolate, butter, and pinch of salt. I would imagine that's probably the unsweetened chocolate. So combine all ingredients and boil slowly until it forms a soft ball in cold water. Remove from heat and set pan in cold water until the bottom of the pan is quite cool. Beat and add a teaspoon of vanilla and nuts. Yeah, in theory you would think that I like fudge, but it is too sweet even for me. All right, and how about taffy nut bars from Mrs. Emma Jones in Marshall, Minnesota? So we've got half a cup of butter, half a cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of flour. So we'll cream butter and sugar, add flour which has been sifted, and then once work flour into dough with hands and pat into an ungreased 9-inch pan. Bake for 10 minutes at 350 degrees. And then the top layer is 2 eggs, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of coconut, and 1 cup of chopped nuts. So we're going to beat the eggs until light, and then stir in brown sugar and mix thoroughly. Blend in vanilla. Now sift flour once before measuring. Sift in flour, baking powder, and salt together, and stir into brown sugar. Mixture beat until smooth, and then blend in nuts and coconut. Spread evenly over the evenly cooled baked bottom layer in baking pan and bake 25 minutes at 350. When slightly cool, cut into bars. Was that just me, or was that not terribly clear? If anything has too many steps, I won't make it. Well, okay, really, this is the truth. I'm not going to make any of this. But in my imagination, I won't even make it if it has too many steps. My imagination gets tired. So my imagination is like, open a can, open another can, mix it together, done. I won't even put in the effort in my imaginary world. I'm not sure what that means, but I just came to that realization. What are you willing to do in your imaginary world? That should be some kind of very interesting thing to ponder, don't you think? Okay, this is my idea of a good recipe. Well, okay, let me refine that. Not good as if I want to eat it. I mean like, okay, maybe I would make this in my imaginary world. This is called Lazy Daisy. This is from the salad section, so don't get too excited. This is from Miss Monica Leffield of Hastings, Minnesota. On a lettuce bed, so that right now that's good. I just need lettuce. Great. Arrange segments of an orange. Great. I will peel an orange. I will do that. So arrange segments of an orange to form petals of a flower. Okay, good. Lettuce, I can do. I will peel an orange. And I can arrange it kind of artfully, even though it will not be pretty. And then, here's the part that made me laugh. In center, place a mound of mayonnaise. So how much is a mound? I guess that is up to interpretation. And on top of that, lay strips of dates cut lengthwise, radiating from the center. So just to recap. We've got lettuce, that's the green of the Lazy Daisy. Orange, the orange segments are the petals. I'm assuming the lump, it was a mound. The mound of mayonnaise would be the center with the dates. And there you go. Okay, so you know what? But here we are. We are now in 2025. And instead of mayonnaise, we will put Greek yogurt. Okay, now I can get behind this. Some yummy Greek yogurt, and we will drizzle some honey on top with some good granola. That might be good, right? I mean, that has to be as good as like an artfully arranged acai bowl, I would think. So let us update the Lazy Daisy. Although I should mention I don't do well with citrus, so perhaps my Lazy Daisy can have petals made out of a peach in season, or perhaps mango, or an apple. Let us rethink, rejigger, if you will, the Lazy Daisy to our modern culinary standards. So that would be the level at which I'd be willing to cook. Thank God for takeout. That's all I can say, and prepared foods from the grocery store. So, my darling friends, I did it. I recorded an episode. I can't even tell you how relieved I am. Now I just have to edit it, which I will do, and there will be a new episode published. So thank you for listening and being here with me. I am so grateful for the gift of you. And thank you for keeping me company and letting me keep you company. So we'll talk again soon. I love you, and I'm grateful for you.